Hello, I'm Jadzia and I'm here right now with Beth Shelton from the school's outreach team, and we're going to be talking all things student finance. So I know lots of students have questions about it. It's one of those topics that might get some people a little bit worried, but Beth is here to clear up any issues you might have. So Beth, let's start with a really easy question.
Yeah.
What is a student loan? What do students have available?
Yeah, so student finance covers quite a lot of different things. So we're actually doing some talks today which goes into student finance in a lot more detail. But to kind of summarise, there's kind of two main types of loans that students have available to them. So the first is the tuition fee loan. So as it says in the name, that covers all things to do with tuition, so the actual learning side of university. And then you also have your living cost loan, which varies depending on your personal circumstances, kind of how much that might be. But again, that's in the name, it's about living costs. So that's things for like accommodation, bills, travel, your kind of additional costs, like if you've got books or materials to get for your course, socialising, all of that side of things. So they're the two main types, but there is kind of lots of additional support that students can get as well. Some might be dependent on personal circumstances, so things like bursaries and scholarships. And as I say, we go into this in a lot more detail in our talk. So yeah, they're the main types really.
And so with a student loan, how much can students borrow for each different type?
Yeah, so as I say, for the tuition fee loan, that covers your tuition, so that's currently £9,250. That goes straight to the university. So if students get that, that will go straight from that pot of money into the university, so they don't need to worry about managing that. The tuition fee loan is slightly different. As I mentioned, it varies slightly depending on whether you live at home, whether you move away from home, and whether you're in London or not. And that's slightly different. So that comes into the student's bank account, and then it's for them to manage, so to make sure that they budget for those things that we mentioned, like bills and transport. So that one's slightly different, so they do have to budget with that one.
And it might be quite difficult for some students to budget because lots of them will never have done this before. So does the university give any advice about how to manage their money?
Yeah, so there's lots of support available when it comes to the finance side of things, and as I mentioned, there's lots of additional kind of financial support available as well. And one of the things that we mentioned in our talk that's a really great way to help kind of top up the amount of money you've got is a part-time job. So lots and lots of students here at Kent, and I'm sure at lots of other universities, do work part-time alongside their studies. Which is a really great way to not only boost your income, but also to develop loads of additional skills as well that can be really useful going forwards into the world of work. So that's something we do also mention in our talk. So things like our student ambassadors, I'm sure you know if you're here today, you'll see lots of them in their blue t-shirts. They're current students, and that's one of the kind of part-time jobs you can have as a student, in addition to lots of other jobs as well.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks so much. And you mentioned that there were different scholarships and bursaries available. How do students find out more about this? How do they apply?
Yeah, so we would really recommend going to the website, because that's got kind of lots of details about all of them. But to give a bit of a brief overview, there are academic scholarships available, so for achieving certain grades. There are sports scholarships if you're, a particularly talented sports person. Music scholarships, and then there's also bursaries, which are more dependent on your personal circumstances. The eligibility for all of those is quite different, so go to the website, that's what I would say, but there are lots available. So even if you're thinking, oh, I don't know if there would be one for me, check it out, because with scholarships and bursaries you don't have to pay them back, it's kind of free money. So we would definitely recommend doing your research, because if there's money available, it's definitely worth applying for.
And so my last question is about paying back student loans. That's something that lots of students get quite concerned about. How does it work?
Yeah, good question. Absolutely. You can see why that might be something that students could be a bit worried about. And it's something that we hope to kind of allay people's fears about. So the student loans, you don't have to pay back until after you've graduated, until you're earning a certain amount of money as well. And then once you kind of have a salary that's that amount, it's just calculated on 9% above that amount. So to put it simply, it's a really small percentage that you'd be paying back each month. So So again, we talk about this in our presentation, but for example, if you were currently on the current scheme, if you were earning £30,000 a year, it's actually just over £20 a month that you'd be paying back each month. So I know, like, for me personally, that's less than my mobile phone contract, less than my gym membership. So it's really something that we hope, we can kind of calm some fears about, because as you say, it's understandable that people are a bit nervous about that. But if you have got any questions, come and see us. We'd be happy to answer them, or definitely look on the website.
Brilliant. Thanks so much.